Hello, in this video I will demonstrate how to run script files. Last week for homework I had you use Notepad to create the Premier database. I'm not going to have you create the remaining databases for this class from scratch. Instead, I'm going to show you how to run a script file. You only need to run the script files for each of the databases used in this course once. Once they are on your mini server, they will remain there until you delete them. I'm also going to have you delete any databases having to do with Henry Books, Premier, or Alexamara in case you made any typing errors when creating them. Also, if you work from the database scripts I am providing this week, you will get the correct answers for the homework and video assignments. Let's get started. So first we need to start our mini server. You should already be familiar with this. I'm just going to bring up my flash drive here, double click on the MySQL start.bat batch file, and then I'm going to type in my username and password. So I have to type in MySQL space hyphen user equals root space hyphen password equals root. And then if I hit enter, my prompt should be the MySQL prompt, which is the prompt we need. So I'm going to go ahead and move this window over to the side and exit out of the window in the background because I don't need that one for now. Okay. I'm also going to minimize or close my flash drive folder as well. I'm just going to minimize that. So I'm back to my Talon window. So now that I have the MySQL prompt, I'm going to check to see what databases are currently on my mini server. We learned this command last week. Show databases. And remember, it doesn't matter if you use all caps or not, or lowercase. Commands are not case sensitive, except for anything within the strings or single quotes when you're actually writing data in. As you can see, the only database I have here is I have Alexamara and Henry. I don't have the Premier. So what I'm going to have to do is drop any databases that I have before I run the scripts this week. So I'm going to use the commands we used last week as well, which is drop, and then whatever the database name, and in my case I have an Alexamara. And then don't forget your semicolon, enter. Oh, I forgot the keyword database, so I have to use drop database Alexamara. Don't forget your keywords. And then as you can see, it says query OK, 5 rows affected. That means that I had 5 different tables in there that got deleted. Now for the Henry, when I put this into your file here, you're probably going to get an error message on that. And the reason for that is that there's no tables included. So I'm going to do drop database Henry and semicolon, and you'll see you'll get an error, so it can't make the directory because there aren't any tables in there and things like that. So ignore that. Your databases will still work when you insert that script file, and everything will still work for your homework. And we'll test that out here in a few moments as well. So now we are ready to run the script for each of the databases used in your textbook. The scripts are already a part of the flash drive you downloaded last week, so you don't have to worry about finding them. So the keywords we need to upload a script are source. It's the keyword we need. You got to start with that. And then you got to go to the file path of where that particular file is. And on my flash drive, it is E:, and then that backslash, that is colon, backslash, and then mini underscore server underscore 11. So like I said, it's, and this part of the path will be the same for you. And then the scripts folder and then my SQL, and then a hyphen Premier. And then let's just check it. Source space E colon mini server 11, and then scripts, and then MySQL Premier. Make sure everything's spelled right. It appears as if it is. And once I hit enter, you'll see a bunch of queries that say OK, because that's loading everything in that script file for you. Now, as you can see, everything is loaded here. Now I'm going to do the same thing for Henry and then Alexa Mara. So the easiest way to do this, instead of retyping that source and the location of everything on my flash drive, is to hit the up arrow key on your keyboard. The up arrow key. What that does is that brings up the last command that you used, and then all I have to do is backspace, and instead of Premier, I want Henry here. And now I can click on enter, and you're going to get an error message or a beep here because, like I said, there were no tables, and it's going to let you know that the database is already created. So go ahead and hit enter. And all of my tables and databases will be created there now. So now let's go ahead and hit the up arrow key one more time. And this time we will backspace and do the Alexa Mara database as well. And then we will hit enter. And as you can see, that will be in there. Don't worry about any of the warnings or the changes that you get there. It's just letting you know that it all worked. And there were some foreign keys and things in this one, so it had to match that information. Okay. Now that we have all of our scripts in there, I'm going to go ahead and run that show databases command again. So you can see that I have Alexa Mara, Henry, and Premier as well. So now let's use some of those commands we used last week to ensure the scripts work for the Henry database. I'm going to let you check the Alexa Mara and the Premier database on your own. So first, anytime that I want to activate or use a database, I have to always use the command use, and then whatever the database name is. So I'm going to use Henry here and hit enter on my keyboard. And as you can see, the database has changed. Now I want to see what tables are in this active database. So all I have to do is simply type in show tables, just those two keywords, and then semicolon, don't forget that, and I hit enter. It'll show me all the tables for that. Now I'm going to take a look at all of the entries from, or all of the data from the author table. So if you remember from last week, select space asterisk space from space and then author, and then a semicolon here to execute the command, and I hit enter. And as you can see, and I'll make this a little bit bigger here, you can see all of the information from, or data from, the author table. Now I'm going to display the data dictionary, or the data types for the columns in the author table. So remember that command was show columns from, and then whatever the table name you're looking at is. In our case, I want to look at author, semicolon, and if I hit enter, you will be able to see all of the fields and the data types and nulls and all that information from that particular table. Go ahead and try those same commands for the Premier database and then the Alexa Mara database on your own. Now you will be able to complete the Premier examples from Chapter 4 in your textbook, the Alexa Mara examples from the video this week, and your homework from Henry Books. One other thing you might run into when completing your homework, so I just want to show you this, is if your mini server freezes because you made a mistake or the server can't handle it or something like that. Typically what happens is it kind of gets in this loop, and it may never happen to you, but it kind of gets into this loop, and no matter how many times you put that semicolon at the end and hit enter, you always are going to get commands like this. Let me just show you. See how you get that arrow there, and you try to put the semicolon in there and hit enter, but it still doesn't work. So the way to get out of that is you hit Control and C at the same time on your keyboard. That was Control and C, and then what that does is that takes you back to the main root or the main drive, and then you simply have to just type in your username and password. So that MySQL minus user equals root minus password equals root, and then enter to get you back to that MySQL prompt. What you'll want to do before you do that, however, is if you did get that arrow above and you had to use this command, make sure you check your script for any errors that you may have made before you paste it again, because if you go and paste that again and you have the same error in there, you're going to get into this loop where you're always going to have to get out and get back in until you fix that mistake. So that is what's going on. Okay, last thing, before I let you go in this video, don't forget to stop your mini server when you have completed a session to avoid corrupting your mini server. Also, when you get back to work on your homework assignment and restart the mini server, you must activate the database you want to use as your first step. So in this case, if I wanted to go back to the Henry database at this point, I'd have to use the use command and then Henry. Otherwise, if I didn't and I just wanted to show the author tables or show tables, I'm going to get an error because there's no database selected. If you get that error message, all you have to do is simply activate a database, so in my case, Henry. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close my database by going back to my flash drive here and clicking on the MySQL stop.bat, waiting until I get to that MySQL stopped command, clicking on the X to get rid of that window and this window. And then I am all done for today. Let me know through email if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.